Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to CoversCorner. Week 6, can you believe it, of the spring garden tour. I'm amazed that it's week 6 already. It's a surprise, happy, I don't know. I mean, there's been so many changes in the garden this week. We had lots of warm weather at the beginning of the week. Yesterday it rained all day long. I'm videotaping this on Friday, and the sun is out today. It's 77, I believe it was, this morning. So there's been lots of changes this week, and I'm gonna have to guess that there's gonna be a lot more within the next day or two given the weather. So let's go ahead and get started. Look, first of all, look how tall. This is the sunflower at the beginning of the garden from this gate, from the small gate, which is where I usually begin the map. It's like gotten so huge. The hot peppers. These are our hot peppers. Look at how big this jalapeno. I'm going to be harvesting that jalapeno here, probably today or tomorrow. There's several more of them. Look at all over the plants. These are the banana peppers, the hot banana peppers. They haven't done anything yet. And yes, guys, there are going to be lots of weeds because of the weather we've had. It's been crazy. So the banana peppers, the cayenne peppers are starting to take off. Let's see what happens with them. This is a what one was this one? A red chili pepper. That one I bought because I didn't have any seeds for them. More jalapenos. They all have lots of nice fruit sitting on them. This is the one Pablo ancho. I know I'm gonna massacre that. I always do. The ancho pepper. Let's call it that. It's got one little blossom on it. I have a couple more that started inside that I'm gonna plant for the fall garden. So we'll have more of those. I'm not worried about only having one of those plants. I did come through and plant the peas here. I think it was Monday last week. I can't remember which day. More peas. I haven't gotten anything yet. We'll see what they do. I used the same package of seeds that I used to start these other ones. So I don't know. Well, we'll see. If these don't germinate, then I'm guessing it's something with the seeds that caused such a sporadic germination here. But what we are getting, the peas off. They're really nice and sweet. Obviously, there's not enough to can or anything to process. So they've just been basically being eaten raw. This one actually is just a little bit too long, and it wasn't there on Wednesday. So that one will probably just be a seed one. Some of them look like they're kind of struggling a little bit now, but with it being in the 80s and 90s, I can understand why. So I'll have another crop of those in the fall. No big deal. Acorn squash is looking good. Lots of buds down there. Spaghetti squash, my spaghetti squash. I'm excited about the spaghetti squash. Let me show you. Look at. We have baby spaghetti squash. There's that one. This one is bigger, a little bit bigger. I think there was a couple more I saw. I did spot those. I spotted this one on Wednesday, but the littler one is new, and I'm pretty sure I saw a couple more on the other side. Brett and I come out every night and do a walk through the garden. We did get to walk through last night for a couple minutes in between the rain shower. So here's the flea beetle ridden poor little eggplants. I'm gonna come out later and put more DE on them. I'm trying to decide if I want to put DE or cause see all those flea beetles right there. You see them? See if I can get them in the light. See those flea beetles? Get off my plants. I'm trying to decide if I'm going to come out and put DE on them or spray more neem oil on them. But they have gotten huge. They took off, despite the damage. They've taken off pretty well the last couple days. And guess what I have? First time ever in my gardening, I'm going to do a gender reveal. We thought that the next plant that I'm going to show you was a pumpkin plant. I thought. Because I am really good at marking my plants in that when I'm growing them, when I'm starting them inside. But guess what we found on my pumpkin plant? Can you see that? It's a zucchini. There's another zucchini. And an even bigger zucchini right there. Not sure how that happened. I planted pumpkin seeds. Guess we were supposed to have a lot of zucchini this year. Here are, oh, and you know what? That explains why it wasn't vining. I kept trying to figure out why that plant wasn't vining yet. I'm like, it's a pumpkin plant. It should be vining. Because it's not. Here's the sunflowers are getting huge. Looking really good. Amy's bee balm is enjoying the shade down there. And her oregano over there is looking really good also. And look at her pepper. She's got, this is just a sweet, she got jalapeno. This is a jalapeno for hers. And then she's got, I think both of hers are jalapenos. Nope, that's a lunchbox. Lunchbox red is what she got. All hers were started. All her tomatoes and peppers and that were started because we got her bed in later. Look at her tomatoes. Look at those tomatoes. Can you see them? Oh, let me see if I can get out of the light. She has a bunch of tomatoes. Oops, let me not whack the camera on them. Look at that. I'm a little jealous. I'll admit I'm a little jealous. Her cucumbers are taken off. Again, these were started. And then this is something new. Let me back up here. We needed a trellis for her cucumbers on this side. And for this that I know is a pumpkin plant on this side. So Brett put this together. We kind of worked together in conceptualizing the idea of it, but he put it together and came up with the bracing and stuff to help with the weight. It's not fastened to anything, but it's sturdy. The only thing that's fastened is this board right here. Just scrap stuff. We had pallets laying around that we hadn't been using, so we'll use those for trellis. If for some reason the cucumbers don't quite grab on because of the gaps in there, we have some wire we can just throw on there, but I think that they're going to be all right with that. Corn. This is the peaches and cream sweet corn. Looking pretty good. I know I got to get in there and weed. Probably tonight or tomorrow. Nothing came up in this corn bed. And yes, I know there's a lot of weeds in there now, but even before these weeds, there was nothing. So I'm going to have to guess there was an issue with those seeds. So I can plant something else in there or just leave it for the fall. It's not a big deal. I don't like to have empty spaces though, so I'll probably plant something else. These are the Japanese Yamato extra long cucumbers. So far, still only had the 2 pop up. Supposed to be one right there. I'll probably just replant there because even if I end up having another one pop up, there's still plenty of room. And then this is the one pickling cucumber that I swear took a month to germinate. Not exaggerating, a month. Pie pumpkins are looking really good. Start them trellising. Hopefully soon. Up, we're gonna have them trellis up this arch. Oh, see, this one is already grabbing hold. This one's a little bit ahead because these two we had to replant. This was a transplant. And this has got blossoms starting already, so that's good. Good to see. Makes it good. Make my pie pumpkin filling with those. And I do I mean, you can't can pie pumpkin because, you can't can the processed puree pumpkin because it's too dense. You can't get the good heat in there to keep the bacteria out. So I do a freezer version of it, and I just put it in the freezer. Works just the same. Kale, I gotta come harvest this again. Probably getting close to being done for the season, but we'll see. I'm gonna get some more, and I'll dehydrate some of that. Onions, I figured out also what was happening with my beans. Never had the issue before I moved here. Like I said, last year I kind of had a little bit of the same issue, but not as bad as I've had this year. And I thought it was ants all along. Nope. Found the culprit. They're Mexican bean beetles. So I came out Wednesday, sprayed neem oil on them before it rained all day yesterday. I'll come out and spray. I think I'm going to do a mixture of neem oil and DE, and probably a little bit of dish soap, just to kind of get all three in there. It doesn't harm the plants. It's good for, and it kills the bad bugs. And I'll probably spray that on because it's got neem oil. I'll probably do that in the evening tonight, just for the pollinator's sake. So there's controversy about neem oil being bad for pollinators. I'm not sure. I mean, I've heard both sides of the story, so I just err on the side of caution and use it at night because I don't want to destroy my pollinators. So we need them. We can't have a garden without them. Pole beans are looking pretty good, actually, even though they're still kind of tore up. The newer growth is looking pretty good, and that's what I'm trying to keep on top of. These ones are even going more. This side looks really good. Like I said, I will be coming out and I'll point you toward that trellis there, dude. Grab on, have a ride. But I was so happy that I finally figured out, because I was like, it's ants. What are we gonna do? There's so many ants. That would be a winning or losing battle. But now that I know that it's not ants, it gives me hope that we can take care of it and have a still fairly successful crop with these. So, and like I've said before, fall, I'll also plant more in the fall. Here's a really, really big weed that was not there. That weed was not there Wednesday, I promise you. Neither was this one. Oh my heavens. No, those were not there. Those little beans are looking good. I'm going to come in and fill in some of these spots with stuff. I think I'm going to start some tomatillas in here. I'm just going to direct sow them for the fall garden. I only had one of my tomatilla plants that germinated and survived, and that's actually up on the deck in a pot. But I'm going to put some more out here because I want to make some salsa verde and stuff like that. More of the green beans over there, looking really good. Marigolds are kind of loving the rain. So I'm also going to talk a little bit about the watering system. We had to put the soaker hoses down, and we did one per bed and kind of zigzagged them back and forth. And I just am not really happy, nor Brett is, with the way that they were watering. There wasn't enough water getting to all the plants. So we've gone back to the standard sprinkler for right now. But what we're looking at doing is running at least two strands of a soaker hose straight down the beds, each bed. One on each side and maybe a third. But for right now, we're just going to water it like we've always done with the sprinklers, and just watch for any, like with the tomatoes, I'll just keep an eye on them. And they're pruned up, so hopefully that helps also to prevent any blights. Okay, these pole beans looking really good. So all the beans are finally look like, well, okay, this one's a little bit sadder, but it's still looking pretty good. Look at that fern. Excuse me, that dill. That propagated from last year. It's all through my cabbages in this bed. So, kind of cool. These sunflowers are kind of smaller, and they got a late start because, again, the cabbages overshadowed them. I think these cabbages are coming out this week. This weekend, I should say. This one's looking a little bit torn up. So I think this is a pretty decent head. They're not huge, but they're okay for now. I do have more going in for the fall crop, so it is what it is, you know. Next year I'll get them in much earlier than I did this year, so that gives them more time to grow in the cooler weather. There's the red broccoli and the Brussels sprouts. And the Brussels sprouts have babies down there growing, starting to bud out. I don't know if you can see them on the stem right here. I don't break off the leaves. Those little buds right there. I know all of my Brussels sprouts have babies, so it's a good sign. Cauliflower is going to be pulled too this week. Again, it's just too hot for it. This is a pretty, okay, unless the worms got to it last night. This is a pretty decent head. These ones are smaller here, but so they'll be being pulled this weekend sometime. My oregano from last year. Get my shadow out of the way. Don't need to see my shadow. The beets are coming out this week. They're all pretty decent size down there. I'm going to harvest them. I'm going to use the greens and dehydrate them and use them in my green powder. You add them to all kinds of food and most people don't even know they're there. So that's beauty. So I'm going to talk a little bit about my onions. I kind of talked about it, I think it was last week's video or the week before, where I was watching that 1870s Homestead on YouTube, and she said she tops off her onions and spoons them, and I had never heard of that technique before, but I wanted to try it and see what happens. So this last week I chopped off all the tops of my, which they're growing back a lot from what I cut them down, but I chopped off the tops of all the onions in this bed and spooned them, which is just moving the dirt around to expose the root to let the ball grow a little bit bigger. So this is what they look like now, but they were seriously like all the same height. So like this height when I cut them off, but look how much they've grown just like in the last day. And what I've done with the tops is I've dehydrated them, and I'm going to grind them up and use them as onion powder. I mean, I do have some that I kept fresh, some of the smaller ones, to use as like in my fresh cooking for the next couple days. So yeah, I'm trying to use every part of the plants this year, which is kind of new for me. I've done it to some extent over the years, but not like I'm trying to do this year. So I'm still learning every day, new techniques, new things to do. I don't think you ever stop learning. Anyway, tomatoes, look at that Roma tomato. You see that baby on there? That little baby tomato. And there's bigger one down here. Oops, there it is. Bigger one down there. They're doing good. I came in this week and pruned on Wednesday. I pruned all my tomatoes up because I knew it was going to rain all day yesterday, so I wanted to get ahead of that, help keep the blight and stuff down. These are all looking really good. Got blossoms on them, starting to set fruit. Same with these, all of these. I've come in and I pruned them all up. Let's see if you can see it. I pruned them all up, and I've fastened them to the, well, this one I didn't fast. Oh yes, I did right there. Sorry, couldn't see them. Let's see, there, right here. I clipped them to the trellis because it was going to be windy yesterday too, and I didn't want to take the chance of losing any of my babies. But they're all looking really good. All the way down the trellis on this side, they were all big enough to attached to the trellis, which was really nice. I think I only have one plant that wasn't big enough to attach, and that's on the other row. But the other row. Today feels like Monday. I'm telling you, I can't talk or anything today. Sweet peppers, looking really good, all of them. I have several different varieties in here. That basil back there is looking good. It's making a comeback. Oh, I missed the... These are the Tabasco peppers. Nothing yet. No flowers or anything. But they'll get there. And look at how pretty that Thai basil is. I don't think I harvested any of it this year, but the flowers are beautiful. Even the sweat beast thinks so, apparently. That one was just buzzing me. Sweet peppers, looking really good. Got lots of different varieties in here, and babies. I don't know if you can see that one. Sometimes it's so hard for me to see them in the camera, but then when I look at the video afterwards, I'm like, they're right there. Lots of blossoms. This Marconi red had set a fruit that was, I think if you look at last week's video, I think it was about that big and had lots more buds on there, and I decided to clip it off. I took them all off because I want this to grow up a little bit more before it starts to try to give me any fruit. There's plenty of time. We still have 142 days in our growing cycle here, so that's more than enough time for that plant to grow up more and give me more, you know, and then put its energy into the fruit. Look at this orange bell pepper. It's getting big. Won't be long before it starts changing. Lunchbox peppers. Oh no, these are the Gypsy Blend peppers. I keep forgetting I got 3 of the Gypsy Blend plants. Look at how big that one is. Can you see that? Oh my goodness. Hold still. There it is. A couple more on this one. There's one right there that's a good size. These are my jalapenos. Like the jalapenos, but Baker Creek didn't have jalapenos when I wanted to get them. So I found these at Lowe's and got 3 of them. And this has got a decent sized pepper on this jalapeno, or jalapeno. And then I have green peppers and red peppers. They're just setting blossoms now, so I think it'll be a little bit before the green peppers and red peppers start producing anything, but it's okay. There's time. Look at this corn bed. I'm gonna go the other end so you don't see my shadow. Look at that corn bed. Can you see that? I've noticed with some of the corn that they're leaning just a little bit, and I'm thinking that it's probably they're not quite getting enough sun for the entire time that they need it. But I mean they're not falling over, so they just got a little bit of a lean to them. So next year we'll know. We'll put them down in one of the other beds, just a little bit down. Like, you learn something all the time with your garden, especially when you're just putting new sections into your garden. Potato grow bags are looking really good. Nice blossoms on them. This is my experiment. These are the store-bought potatoes that I was experimenting with because I was always told that you can't get them to do anything, that they would just rot in there. So, but they're looking good so far. Actually, these have blossomed, and these went in several weeks after our other 2 beds, and our other 2 beds have not blossomed yet. So I don't know if that's a good sign or a bad sign. We'll see. And this patty pan is looking really good. Just getting up there. Cucumbers, I'm gonna have to start trellising them. Get that weed out of there. Those are looking really good. I might pull them back real quick. I don't want them going there. We'll pull them back so they're on this side and going up. I don't want them going through. I don't want them crowding out. The rutabagas took off. We'll see how they do. Now I put rutabaga in my green stalk towers. My green stalk towers on the deck. And the weirdest thing, they sprouted. They got to about that stage. And then they started breaking off at the soil level. Not sure, I've never ran into that before. A little bit different, like I used some chicken compost that was bagged for sale at Lowe's. So we don't have chickens. Shouldn't be hot if it's bagged for sale. It doesn't say hot manure. I don't know if that has anything to do with it or if it's just, I don't know, just something that happened. So I guess we'll have to see how these do, but so far they're looking pretty good. Hopefully they keep going. Parsnips aren't up yet, but parsnips take a while to germinate. The weeds will probably germinate faster than the parsnips. Bok choy is looking good. I'm going to come in here and thin some of this out. I wanted to get a little, wanted to let it get a little bit bigger. I only have the one row of bok choy, even though that looks like a bok choy plant right there. I think it's just a weed. The radishes are looking really good. I replanted 2 cucumbers in here. That one back there took off. That was planted as at the same time as the ones on the other end. These two, this one here, the original one I planted here and planted here didn't do anything. So I replanted last week, I believe it was, here. And that one's germinated. This one still has done nothing. Not sure if it has anything to do with the sunflowers. I don't know if these sunflowers are overshadowing them or what the deal is, but I wouldn't think they are. Speaking of sunflowers, he's kind of crooked, so I think I'm going to try tying him up to this post just to give him a little bit of support, because these 3 for some reason are leaning and I'm not sure why. So the yellow squash are getting there. They're kind of small. I think they might be getting overshadowed by the sunflowers. This actually was planted several weeks after this was transplanted outside, so that kind of makes me think there might be something going on. This is the zucchini right next to it. I've never had a zucchini plant do this quite like this before. Not sure what's going on with that. It doesn't want to stand up and just wants to lay over on its side, so we'll see what's going to happen with that. I have an extra zucchini plant. It's all good. This is the second zucchini plant that I know I planted, so I know it's a zucchini. Watermelon are looking really good, taking off. These tomatoes are all looking really good. They're all pruned, trellised. A lot of them are starting to set fruit. There's one that's smaller. That was on this row. It might be on the other row. Oh yes, it is on the other row. Because it was a pruned start, so it was planted after the other ones. Lots of blossoms on this one. These are on the agenda for getting trellised this weekend because they have just exploded. I do need to come in and trim that off again. I guess that one wasn't quite hanging that low yesterday or Wednesday when I trimmed them, but now it's got dirt on them, they can see from raining all day yesterday, so I'll come in and prune that. These bean plants so far are doing pretty well. Got a couple spots where they've been eaten on. I have been putting DE on them, but again with the rain yesterday it all got washed off, so it needs to be reapplied. But it looks like they're supposed to be bush beans, but I don't know. We'll see what happens with them. It's a mystery garden this year. Nothing in here yet. I'm actually gonna plant asparagus in this. So I've never planted asparagus either, but I figured I'll plant it in this tub, and that way if we find our homestead relatively soon, I can take it with me. Onions are getting ready to, these are the ones that overwintered last year, so I'll be collecting those seeds soon. And the potato beds, I have found slugs yesterday on them, and I found a potato beetle. These still have no blossoms though. It's kind of confusing me because they were out here so much later, or so much earlier. I mean, they've been in here longer than the ones in the bag. and I'm not sure why they haven't set blossom yet, but they kind of look like they're starting to fall down. So I'm going to throw DE on them to help with the beetles and stuff. We'll see what happens. We had replanted the burgundy bush beans, the royal burgundy bush beans here. Some of them are still germinating. Some spots they don't look like they're going to come up, so I may just throw a couple more seeds in there. I think this seed had like an 85 or 90% germination rate, if I remember right, from the these are from, I think they're from Eden Brothers, which is open pollinated, or these are open pollinated, I should say. I think they're from Eden Brothers or Baker Creek. Those are the two I've ordered from this year, so I'll let you know in the comments below. So these onions, I did not top off or anything. I obviously, and I haven't spooned them. One, because they're not big enough, but two, I kind of want to see, because look at the size of that. Look, I haven't done anything to this, and look at the size of that ball already. So I'm gonna leave some that I don't prune off and spoon, and see if there's a big difference. I mean, it doesn't hurt to prune them off, because you can always use the top of that plant for something else. So here are the Brandywine tomatoes, all looking fairly well. Got a little bit of a, I don't know if you can see, these plants leaves all kind of were looking like this the other day, but they kind of look like they're getting a little bit better now. I'm not sure. And we got something eaten on the sunflowers, only the sunflowers. We came out the other night with black lights, and I found a worm on the grape tomato plant, but we looked through all the other tomato plants and didn't see one anyplace else. So I don't know if that's what is going after that, the sunflowers, because I have this one and one of the other sunflowers over there down here that were just decimated, the leaves were, but the other ones all look good. So I don't know what it is. I haven't seen anything yet. Still trying to figure that one out. Mystery. Hello, Miss Robin. Miss Robin come to visit. Oh, I don't know if you saw her, but she was up there. Lots and lots and lots of tomatoes on this confetti plant. See them all. I came in Wednesday and pruned this plant down pretty decently. Also, I took a bigger stalk that was in the middle. It was not the main stalk though, but I took it out because I wanted to give it, it was pretty tight in there, and I wanted to make sure there was room for ventilation in there. And the grape tomato, these tomatoes in here, can you see them? Let's see if I can move. There, they're all over this plant, and there was only a couple on there the other day, and this is the plant that I found the caterpillar on. So I'm not sure if, it wasn't like a hornworm, the green, it was a good size, almost looked like a cabbage worm, but it was big and fat. So and I squished him, so he's no longer with us. Anyway, oh, look at the, you can see the mama bird up on the bird. She'll fly away if I get too close. She's feeding the babies. Oh, see, she's got another, she feeds the babies up there. They scream at her and she comes stuff with worms in their mouth. But that's the garden tour for this week. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Things are really changing fast around here with the weather, which is great. Things are taking off, and we're learning a lot of new lessons this year. This is a new growing environment for me. Half the pests that I have this year here I never had before in Michigan due to the different climate. So it's a learning process for me, and hopefully you're learning something from it with me. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed the tour. If you like the videos, I hope you subscribe to our channel. Click the red button, subscribe, hit the thumbs up. Most of all, the best thing that you can do to help our channel grow is to share this video with your, on your social media, with your friends and family, anybody that you might think of that is trying to get into gardening or thinking about getting into gardening, even if they don't have a farm. Hopefully they can learn a little bit of something from what we're doing here. So I will see you guys on the next video. Have a great day.